Irene Ratliff. I come back on here. I was about to kind of rest a little bit, but the reason I came back on is to talk about the rapture. I know that inside of some texts we have read about raptures, and when we had identified with raptures, some people may not have any clarity about what that may be. But I wanted to say that I had identified a form of rapture with just us listening to the noise, right? Or just hearing a radio or a constant something talking, or, you know, at that point, what happens if they're saying that they're talking to a group of people, then that means that we're really, to tell you the truth, we shouldn't even be going through that. A lot of us should not be, the radio shouldn't be on. There's no emergency or anything. But the thing is that it has associated itself with mind control. Okay, because I mean, I'm like, wow, some of the stuff that I'm listening to, I'm just not in agreement with it, or I don't want to hear it. I mean, it's just not where I, Green Ratliff, would like to do. You understand? Like, I mean, some of this stuff is just like it's talking about other people, or it's trying to jarg. Here it is, a thought is subliminal. It's like negative. It's a rapture. Okay, so that means that now they want to tell us how they have other a, a market environment where they're just and at that point it's just like um you're trying to figure out, well, what's really going on or why it's going on. That you understand what I'm saying. Oh, well, here it is, we're with you and this, that, and the other. But the issue is that if we're listening to these people and they want to be like, they're trying to excuse, accuse, ACCUSE. Well, I accuse them. You understand? There is valid, viable complaints against, here it is, whatever department that is. I'm telling you, I am in the know, meaning that am in the interest to find out whatever entity that is. Okay, because government, I called it the some people call it the spirit world. I'm like, that's not the spirit world. Okay, not when it's doing something opposite than what you want to do for yourself. You understand? I mean, it's like, okay, well, why would my lord want me woo or trying to upset me negative? Okay, so um the thing is that with all that talking, I mean, it's just talking to, it's trying to find, it's trying to be in a communication where it's trying to find an excuse. Okay, not only is it explaining, but it's trying to find an excuse to continue to chit chat or chatter, make all that noise like that. And then while it's doing all that explaining, again, it's trying to excuse itself, and it's trying to gain itself rights. Now the thing is that if they have a lot of people, like it's in a test market, they're trying to ask these people questions and doing this and doing that. At that point, what happens is that it becomes something out of our own control. I have repeatedly asked, who makes the laws faster, or who moves legislation faster, the people or the government? Well, the thing is that even though we may see elected officials, we have people who actually work within the government. Okay, so these people who are working within the government, it would probably be the government who could move legislation, rules, ordinances, yada yada yada, faster than the people. That being said, that if we are in agreement with these people doing any of these things to us, or we just think that it's okay, then it poses a problem and concern, not only with a test market or illegal experiment or even illegal, okay, where we paying you clinical trials, or doing clinicals. Oh, let's to see. No, 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 no. It's all in the wrong place. So when we look at the raptures, or them going back and forth to trying to explain that it's okay, or that no one will care for you, or this not going to, negative. Okay, so the accusation is that I think that they shouldn't be doing that. The accusation is that I didn't give them the authority or the right to do those things to me. The accusation is I think that it's illegal that the government itself should not be doing any kind of testing against the people without their approval. If they're doing mind marketing, okay, the mind marketing, and now I'm telling you, there's something else. You heard me? We shouldn't be going through all of that. There's a lot of little different experiments and testings, okay? So when we go back into the human rights, it says something about it. It's a little itty bitty something about here it is, that man and his community, that man and his environment. You understand? So, that being said, the rapture. Um, the noise we should because I'm like, are we in war or something? Or, I mean, you would hear, like, you could be watching your TV program, your phone, and there'll be like a public service announcement or something. This is not that, honey. I mean, not when they want to gossip and it's just like, here it is. What in the world? For my work and for myself as an individual, I'm telling you, it's sad. It's sad. Now, the reason why, I said that it's not mental health, it's domestic abuse. Because if you look at the things that are listed for domestic abuse, these things and found, matter of fact, even looking at human rights, is really broken down like a domestic thing, okay? Meaning that here it is, man and his environment. I mean, if you really look at it, it's like, wow, the connectivity that I'm trying to explain to you today. Okay, so if we were looking at a domestic abuse, and then you feeling anything hot, any waving, if they're talking to you, or they're trying to tell you all the things that they can do to you, and all this is domestic abuse. It's not mental health. The reason why a lot of that stuff went into mental health is because now it want to be like, it's, hey, you're crazy, or there's something that's, look, are we able to do these things? Negative, 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 negative. Okay, the thing is that we shouldn't be feeling any of those things. And if we didn't have anything to say, okay, well, we are bona fide watch and we know that these things shouldn't take place, and then to who we will make the complaint. The thing is, it's valid for us to accuse these people of trying to do wrong by the people. It's valid to accuse them, not excuse them. Okay, I mean, matter of fact, I was looking at some of the holidays. We come around to that turkey. Okay, now I know that here it is. Sometimes the president want to pardon the turkey, and sometimes it's good to say that we ain't trying to excuse that turkey. You heard me? Do you hear what I'm saying? Okay, so the thing is that if we look at domestic abuse, let me look. There's a list of things that are there under domestic abuse. Is that if we're allowing these people to do that, um, how are we to try to say what is domestic abuse? What is domestic violence? And put it like that. If anything, if I know I'm gonna cry out and I'm complaining, then how are we supposed to, it's one thing to talk about working with the government and complying with the government. The other thing is that if you're accusing the government of some wrongdoing, and then they wouldn't be like they got asylum, or what is that other word, immunity and all that, then that means that the government. Because I mean, hold on, I just have another thought and another thought. I what I didn't understand was um why they wanted it to be as if it was something different than me being a resident of a resident and a citizen of the United States, but that I was something opposite or something different. And I just said, well, hold on, honey. The government itself, right, have allies. And us, me being a citizen, I think that here it is, I'm more of an ally than how they wanted me, or I'm sorry, how it was looking like treason, or that I want to call off some different land or something like that. Or that whatever it is on your own, that whether dysfunctional, that this is ours. I said, no, 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 no. All this ours. And it'd be like, well, here it is. All this is ours too. I mean, it's like for real. But anyway, let me read this really quick. It says the domestic violence, also known as domestic abuse or family violence, is violence on other abuse that occurs in a domestic setting, such as in marriage or cohabitation. Now, this thing want to be like, oh, well, we've been there with you. I'm like, Lord have mercy, no. Domestic violence is also often used as a synonym for intimate partner violence, which is committed by one of the people in an intimate relationship against the other person and can take place in a relationship by a former spouse or a spouse. Now, the thing is about knowing somebody or they did it to their own people and your family. Look what they did. Hold up. Wait a minute. In its broadest sense, domestic violence also involves violence against children, parents, or the elderly. It can assume multiple forms, including physical. Now, if we feeling anything, it's physical. Okay, I mean some of the stuff. Oh well, look, well here this. I'm like, no. I said the body was already strong. I think it's something opposite. Than here it is that strong body that is doing. You understand? Because I'm like, well, no, honey, I shouldn't be feeling that way. I shouldn't be feeling hurt. I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't, you know what I mean? So if you feel anything physical, whether it's something that is poking you, something that is heating you, or it feels hot, or you feeling uncomfortable, or it's physical. You could feel it. That means that somebody is putting something. We're talking about sky now. We're talking about what's going on or beaming down on man. Okay, what's beaming down on man. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Matter of fact, let me see if I can see myself because what? Okay, one more moment. I can make this a little smaller. And come right here, make this a little bigger if I can see it. Okay, so if you feeling anything, and that's why I'm like, Lord have mercy. I'm just trying to explain to people what Irene Ratliff is experiencing, and then why it's important for us to even talk about, not talk about it, but implement some strategies and some programs to talk about domestic abuse. Because the thing is that if anything happens again, I'm reiterating that here in the United States, then how are we to complain and who will be our allies? Who are the people's allies if the government did something wrong? Now, back in the day, we would hear some news or some conversation. Oh, I'm looking this way, but I'm trying to look straight. Okay, it's not going to work. Okay, let me see. There were some complaints and stuff that I had made. Let me see if I move this over here. Who will be the allies? But anyway, there was stories of the United States government doing some, um, making some accusations against, here it is, some of the governments as it related to human rights or to talk about these different things that they may have been doing wrong. And I'm listing those things. That's what I'm saying. It is domestic abuse, domestic violence in home. Okay. So here, how are those people in other countries going to help us? Now, if we look at, here it is, the United Nations, the United States really don't have a status as it relates to human rights. Now that poses a problem. The thing is wrong and right is right, right? But I ain't talking about that other right. I'm not talking about RITE like we just going on. It isn't even political. Oh, well, here it is. Well, they knocking on our door. Hold up. Yeah, what's wrong with that? You're protecting the same people, and everything that I'm doing is legal. There's nothing wrong with it. Oh, here it is, and they're doing this. I said, well, here it is. I'm telling you, I do not like the noise. That is just, and I don't like that feeling. Over your nerve and nerve. I said, hold on, I don't know how the hell we got on back and forth about the nerve, but then here it is, go back and forth about the clitoris and all. I said, hold on. I don't like it. I'm not, I mean, I may be here by myself, but I'm not sexually active. I'm not sexually trying to screw anybody. I'm not trying, you know what I mean? This is not an effort. It's not that here it is, I'm opposed to it. The thing is, not even talking about meeting somebody that is of interest. It just didn't. It just hasn't happened. You understand what I mean? Okay, but if you're feeling anything, heat, any cold, because I mean they got a cold pack too now. That's a cold pack. Okay, not only heat, but also cold, waving, anything that's on your body that you know that's abnormal or just not, is just irregular, is just not correct. It is physical, verbal abuse. Listening to that damn noise is verbal abuse. Anything that's sitting there, you're at your peace, and then yet something's trying to tell you about what you is and what you ain't. Oh, well, you ate this and this and this, oh, this, you fat, you skinny, you black, you white, oh, here it is, they look how they look. It's verbal abuse, my love. It's verbal abuse. It is. Okay? Because I mean, you in a room, you just pieced out, you just, and then just to have something like, oh, you never negative. Again, you could turn on and turn off a TV. Okay, so why is that thing just constantly speaking? Where was able to identify in itself that it has to be some entity larger than here it is me, an individual. Okay, now we're looking at individual liberty. Okay, if I'm gonna hear this talking about, oh honey, they just made just a big laugh about that. About here it is, what they're able to do about the individual. And then yet there's organizations and everything, and then you go knocking on those doors. I mean, I'm knocking on a lot of different doors, and then yet those services are telling us that they're there to help us. Well, how in the world is it helping us if I'm trying to not only seek employment, but also to get paid for here it is, my services or whatever? But then there we go, emotional abuse. Emotional abuse. I mean, here it is, you emotional. Then they want to be like, hey, do this. And there goes that verbal again. It's verbal abuse going into emotional. There, you just minding your own business, and then something now wherever you are and you're high, trying to bring you down and think about whatever the hell something else is thinking about. Then at that point, it becomes an emotional something, because here it is, you could be and then you find yourself frowning, or you just like what, you know what I mean? Or you listening to other people and then you just get upset at 360 because there was a misunderstanding because you all caught up and here it is what somebody else has said to you because you're hearing the noise. Honey, when they came on, I was like, okay, well, Chicago, we was all the way over there with the Illinois. So I know that a lot of people, we're going from state to state and just looking here and there, but that Illinois, okay, and want to be like, okay, but you just want to make noise and just want to just we're not prisoners of war. I mean, we're here at home as domestic. It is an issue, okay? Economic. Lord have mercy. This thing to be going back and forth about your money, that be including everything. You know what I'm saying? Risking here it is your livelihood, including where you stay, or even suggesting that you should be homeless, or they trying to find strategies and ways to keep you from working. Okay, you want to increase this, increase that, and then yet here it is finding you have no employment. There were some stories about economic abuse where it was saying that when people are not even trying to feed you or they're not trying to pay you, all these things are a form of abuse. It's domestic abuse, okay? No, if you're looking for work and if yet they want to be like, okay, well, we have other people looking at you, we're doing this, we're doing that. Oh, look at how this, oh, well, here it is. If you're doing this, you're doing that. I mean, at that point, that means that in those views or in that clinical, they was able to alter people's mind from you having good employment and making a valuable living for yourself so that you can accommodate, here it is, all your creditors to make sure that you have what? Food, clothing, and shelter. So to just talk about food, clothing, and shelter alone is incorrect. We must add in economics, and meaning that we want employment, okay? And then I'm just at all to just learn that we don't really have anything to say. you can't do this and even have the support that is needed, because that was one of the biggest things that when I began to look and view some of the concerns about, people and their complaints. Yeah, right now everything looks fine and dandy, but we really don't have that much to lean on. And then when we look and listen to what those people are talking about and how they were able to not only for real manipulate the market where people would purchase or buy or render the services, it's an economic problem. When I was out there looking at, here it is, not so much about who is who, but then if we needed employment from, here it is, from wherever we were going, I found it interesting that some of these places, include that I was traveling to, that people wasn't even running their own country and they were not running business. To make it hard and complicated and complex about you having not only being a producer, but then to talk about being a consumer, then yet you don't have any money. The economic issue is a problem. Creating the jobs and finding the employer, that's important. For all that listening and hearing, and yet somewhere in there you would think that the organization itself would say, listen, this person needs to have money and make money. It is not okay to abuse, physically abuse somebody, to try to bop them into, here it is, some other kind of system to prevent you from making the type of lifestyle or living that you want for yourself. Matter of fact, I was just like, OMG. Well, then why do they have this person and that's how that looked? And then yet here it is, the door should be wide open for us to try to help ourselves. But then yet they want to be like they had complaints or they wanted to make excuses on why you are not there, meaning me or meaning you. You understand? Religious. It is your religious business. All this stuff is going into our first our Bill of Rights. Whatever religion you in. Matter of fact, there was something I had commented on. I went out on it. I wanted to make it very public, but I realized something, that while I was trying to make it public, that it was became something other than what the intent was. You understand? Now, other people, I mean, matter of fact, all the way into, here it is about betting and doing this. I was like, Lord have mercy. I was just like, it had took away from whatever it was that I wanted to do. Yeah, we celebrate the holidays and everything. I do. I like all the holidays. Matter of fact, I'm okay with, here it is, some of the little fairy tales of folklore. Okay, outside. I mean, I'm with the secular side as well as some understanding about religion are religious. Okay, but now religion and religious, they may be one and the same. The thing is that there's some people who do some things religiously, and it's not even associated with what we may think as a God or something. You know what I mean? We religiously watch television. I mean, this is something what people do. A lot of people do watch a movie or whatever, or watch TV. They do it religiously. So religious, matter of fact, let me look at what religious mean, okay? Because the thing is that again, the word religious didn't say religion, okay? Because you can watch or do something religiously and it could be secular. It don't have to even be a part of a, let's say, a way of life through a theological uh, a theological text. Let's feel like relating to or behaving in a religion. Both men were deeply religious, intelligent, and moralistic, devout, pious, reverent, um, believing, God fearing, dutiful, saintful, holy, prayerful, practicing, faithful, devoted, committed. So the thing is that you can be, religious don't necessarily mean religion, okay? Religion as we know it, which is a social cultural system. That's religion, a social cultural system. Religion is a range of social cultural systems, including our way of life, including designated behaviors and practices, morals, belief, worldviews, texts, sanctified places, prophecies, ethics, or organizations that generally relate to humanity, to supernatural, transit, transcendental, and spiritual elements. Although there is no scholarly consensus over what precisely constitute a religion. Different religions may or may not, and then it goes into something else, which I didn't open that up. That too, to look at culture. Okay, I mean, it's like, okay, if we hold on, where in the hell did these people come from? Like this boy, no, 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 no. I mean, it's like, wow, man. Okay, let me go up here to this really quick. Reproductive. Now, the thing is that if you're being held away or they found something or they're physically abusing you and you're reproductive, that means that you're looking at your genes, looking at the pelvic or the reproductive organs or the reproductiveness to spear forward, maybe in self determination. But if you're sexually active, the thing is that your reproductive organs, you don't want anything to physically hurt you or harm you, or even to do some things that prevent you from having life, giving life. So anyway, it could be more in depth, but I'm going to sexual abuse, being molested, being raped, being touched any way that you don't want to be touched. That is physical, okay? So sexual abuse can also be not only the name calling or going to verbal, emotional, economic. I mean, man, all these things kind of tie one into another in such a way, okay? It can range from subtle, coercive forms to martial rape and other violent physical abuse, such as choking and beating, female genital mutilation. Now, female genital, I don't know. I mean, they didn't say anything about circumcision. That became common, where babies would get it, little boys would get it when they were young. But then you had some people who didn't want to do that. Disfigurement or death, and includes the use of technology to harass, control, monitor, stalk, or hack. Did you see that? And it includes the use of technology to harass, control, monitor, stalk, or hack. This stuff is for real people. No, we don't want to excuse these people from going on with us like they're doing. And it's just the truth. Domestic murders include stoning, bride burning, honor killing, and dowry death, which sometimes involves a non cohabitating family member. So it's going into something else. But the point that I'm making to you is that if we are here, which we are in the United States, and if something was to happen, and yet we may see some things. I know that we recently had some riots and people were upset about an array of different stuff. The thing is that there is police violence too. If we look at police violence and say, okay, well, these things are these acts that these officers has done to against a man or a person, a woman, and then yet you have attorneys or the public at large is at crying out to the government, and then yet when they go to court there's some kind of form of immunity or a police association that is there trying to protect. Here it is, the person or the officer who have done wrong. The thing is, it has resulted in the people complaining. Too many incidents with police officers doing harm to people of color. Too many. Now, if we were sitting there looking at what I'm saying one time about we need something more than just a show of complaint to say we're tired of being tired of the police doing some things to us. The thing is that what about in another country? Oh, well, here it is. If we were here, we were there, this wouldn't happen. But then, yet to look at here it is the environment of what they're trying to explain. If we went to an all white country, they have their issues. There's people in jail. Matter of fact, well, they wanted to go back and forth with me about hue. I was like, honey, you could just go and look in the jails. You see all kind of colors. Not everybody in there is one color of a kind, unless you went to a country such as that. Hold on, I'm not finished. Now here it says, okay, I was just looking at violence against women just now, and I kind of mentioned some of the things that they said. Um, Mass sexual assault. I mean, like I said, I mean they trying to, but some of this groping, strip, beating, penetrated, and rape. Okay, if you being penetrated or is trying, all these things, honey, is incorrect. Cyber sex trafficking, okay, sexual violence, man, in war, man, it's sad, baby. Prison, mm, mm, mm. Man, oh wow. One of the things that in my work with Street Meat Company is that I would have sent. I used to hand out constitutions, okay, and if it was small enough, I probably would have, and which I would probably do the same. Hand out pockets for the Declaration of Independence, where it provides some of the things via the United Nations as it relates to not only human rights, but then also our Bill of Rights, okay? Civil unrest, okay, the term for violence in the home. Civil unrest is also a domestic is domestic violence or fall into domestic abuse. Listen, it's not mental; it's domestic. I'm just so concerned about here it is. I mean, this don't have nothing to do about turning one side and turn to the other. This has something to do with finding the right things to address our concerns. But then when I say that, I'm thinking about for real on a variety of different things, such as the things that we try to fight for in regards to our right to vote. But then yet, if they want to be like, well, listen, we could put people in a rapture to find a marketing, at that point, it seems as if that they not only is it illegal, but they want to do some marketing that may be against here it is, the wishes of here it is, man himself. Let me see. There's some more information and there's other things that I wanted to put there as an explanation. Wow, sweet pea. And they're just looking at women. But then what I learned is that the woman itself doesn't necessarily have to be a woman as we know it. It could be here it is, anything that's being targeted, no different than how maybe some of these countries may be more feminine in its calling than it is, let's just say, masculine. I've been at some effort trying to find an architect. I'm so for real. So about that museum, that courthouse museum in San Pedro, Wilder's Edition Park. Why has there been a delay? Oh, because honey, we just all up in here it is, he said, she said on somebody else's lot. Then I'm like, well, honey, my lot is not being cared for, and that would be including me personally. That is the complaint, too. Now, if we was to look at some things, even the people that they want us to look at, yada yada yada, and I'm making some suggestions and this, and then yet whether those people are listening or not, the thing is how are we really there to try to help ourselves? Hmm? I was at this place that I grew so concerned that looking at the Secretary of State, the ones that provide our visas and stuff, traveling abroad. I'm sorry, I'm so sleepy. I'm going to end this in a minute. Um, if we're traveling abroad, what safety and security do we have? Really? I mean, I went down there and knocked on the embassy doors, and guess what? Honey, I was turned away, and it wasn't even somebody who was speaking English. So the United States pulls from different people. That's why I didn't understand why they wanted to tell me about here it is that wherever I want within the United States is we have to go through all the bullshit to get it. I'm sorry, it's just incorrect. We do not want to excuse these people doing any wrongdoing to us to find for real. Listen, I just said we're bright people, my love. We're bright people. Okay. So that means that not only are we with filled with light, right? But just as good as there's light, there's darkness. So that being said, um some of the stuff is just like it's like what, it doesn't make any sense. Wow, just to look at here it is circumstances and situations, I can look at any numerous amount of these stories, and then yet when we see an outcome of a police officer doing something, then what we have acknowledged is that nothing. A matter of fact, it takes some time going back and forth to court just to try to not only arrest the person who had done something wrong, but then to even address, here it is, the movement by itself to say, no, we do not want to right this wrong. No, we should not be excusing them. And some of this stuff, of course, we want to pay attention. But then the other part of it is that what in the world and why in the world is that thing going like that? I'm sorry, you understand? So what does that mean? Hmm. Oh, gracious Lord, gracious Lord, gracious Lord. Then they want to have the people look in, and they like, oh, well, look what we doing, or they want to tell them this is abuse. Oh, well, how you gonna help this one? How you gonna do that? I'm so ready to have that dang on museum, law library, mock or small, not small. I wanted it to be a nice sized courthouse. I wanted it to be an area where people are able to come and research the law. Okay. And then also you have self help groups, no different than what we may see there at the Los Angeles Law Library. But the thing is, it is a place where we extenuate the conversation about Black politicians, men, lobbyists, whatever, civil rights movers, shakers, and movers, all of that. And the reason why that particular place is because it is correct. All right, family. Um, I'm like, I'm trying to hold my eyes up and open, but I just wanted to make sure that I just let you know we're not supposed to excuse these people. We are just listening and listening and listening, and then no action, and they want to go back and forth to you about everything else and everybody else, and then negative, negative. Okay. Thank you very much. I'll come back into chat later. Okay.